Welcome back to another game of Playing the Wizards with myself. This time we're going to see a matchup between Pallando and Gandalf. So this is our first time repeating a wizard. There are 5, so it was going to happen. I mentioned at the end of the last video, we're going to go for a sort of double elimination style. So play until wizards will be in until they lose 2 matches or 2 games, and then they're out. And we'll see who comes out on top. Gandalf won his game versus Saruman, so we will see Gandalf versus Pallando, who's the only wizard who hasn't played one yet. Pallando's very strong, I will go ahead and say. In past games that I played with myself, Pallando's been very strong. His passive ability of just being able to hold on an extra card in your hand, it doesn't sound that impressive, but it's pretty dang good. I do Pallando with a Dwarf deck because the dwarves like to get some cool items in Dragon Country, and so they benefit from being able to hold extra cards in your hand with that sort of strategy. Pallando's hazard strategy is animals, wolves, spiders, and so I play cards that use cards that play into that, and then of course we saw before that. Gandalf's resource strategy is all about rings. It plays into his ability to tap to test rings, and his hazard strategy is undead and corruption. Now, the one thing I will say for Gandalf is it may be that this corruption strategy might be very effective against Pallando's deck, because he is really resource heavy, really item heavy, and there's some potential corruption difficulties. I've tried to put cards in to mitigate that, but lots of fellowships. But both sides have 3 fellowships in their either deck or including the sideboard. But actually, I have no characters in Gandalf's sideboard. I needed every hazard, every resource, and so all his potential characters are in the play deck. Now, that may slow some things down as well. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Before we get started, just want to issue a little clarification on errata and some house rules, just so it doesn't seem like I'm making things up on the spot. Looking online at the different errata, focusing on obviously the hero versus hero cards, and there's a lot of them, and some of them aren't that impactful or that relevant. Some of them deal with cards I don't have, but let me just run down a few real quick. So again, it doesn't seem like I'm making it up on the spot. These are the ones that I will go for, and maybe a few that are suggested that I'm going to ignore. Alatar, I found that interesting. He can force a 0 draw, so I think that makes his power a little bit more impactful, and helps even it out closer to some of the other wizards' powers. So he reduces the number of cards drawn by 1, but it does stipulate on the card that up to 1 or down to 1. But let's use this errata where it says he can force a 0 draw. One that they suggest that I'm going to ignore is Assassin, gives 2 marshalling points. I don't think that's so. The Assassin it's a good card, but it's not that great. I don't think that's really necessary. I'd rather go with what it says on the card. The Book of Mazarbul, which is going to come up in this game. This says that to activate its power that you tap the bearer. They suggest changing that to tap the book. I'm in favor of that. That makes that a little more useful, and something that makes it a little more likely that you might actually use that instead of just rushing to store it. Goldberry, they say she can tap to give 1+1 prowess, even though she doesn't usually participate in combat. I like that. Lure of Expedience. It clarifies that this triggers when an item changes hands. Obviously, when your team gets an item, but also when an item changes hands, or when a gold ring is tested. So I like that. That might come up in this game. Muster, we've seen this discussed before, but instead of just making an automatic win, they suggest making it add the warrior's prowess up to 5, up to a maximum of 5 to the roll for the influence check. I like that. I don't like anything that's just like, okay, automatically this succeeds. That sort of takes some of the randomness out of it, some of the chance out of it, and that's less fun. Ring lore, another card that might come up in this game we're starting here, is it clarifies that this must be used at an untapped site, and the playing of this card taps the sage and the site. It's very vague on the text of the card. In fact, it implies that nothing taps, no one taps, and that seems a little odd. So, and then the last one, this would have come up in the last game, and I think we'll implement it going forward. Vilya only allows you to draw up to 3 cards from your discard, resource cards from your discard, and put them into your play deck, not 5. I think that is a tune down that is maybe appropriate, and and it actually might have helped us in the last game. If we hadn't maybe been bringing quite so many cards, we maybe would have gotten through our deck quicker and had a better control of the game. As far as other house rules go, I have seen the rule where they say that if the wizard is eliminated, it's a -5 marshalling points instead of you lose the game. I don't know. I mean, I get the idea that, like, okay, Gandalf in the books, Gandalf dies sort of, and he still comes back. But there's a card that deals with that scenario called Sacrifice of Form. So I don't think that's what's happening when Gandalf is, or whoever is, like, killed by some orc warriors. That is not the same thing. So I'm going to stick with, if they die, they die. If they are eliminated from a corruption check, the game is over. They're gone. If they're discarded, if a wizard is discarded from a corruption check, I will just discard them, and they'll go back in. It's like they left the mission for a while, kind of like when Gandalf took off to deal with the necromancer in The Hobbit. But not quite like that, because he was going off to do something. But they lose the faith a little bit, but they come back, and their mission continues. So that can still be, still you discard the items that they're holding. It can still be pretty disruptive, but I like that. And then, of course, one other rule I'm going to, thanks to a suggestion that someone made in the comments, it was something that I have not done previously, but I like, is the implementation of critical fails. So Snake Eyes is going to be a critical fail no matter what, and no matter how strong the roll is otherwise. That way I'm not just having these times where it's like, okay, no need to roll, they win automatically. So Snake Eyes is always a fail. And then in the case where a wizard's corruption check is forced to make a corruption check, and they otherwise can't lose on a Snake Eyes, it's discarded, not eliminated. So they will just, like I said, go back into the discard pile, and they can come back through again. But in the meantime, they're out, and their special powers are out, and their influence and all that stuff. And if they're influencing a bunch of characters that can't make it under, that can't fit under the general influence, then those characters will need to be discarded as well. Yes, so that's how I'm going to go forward. If that becomes problematic for whatever reason, we will address that going forward. But I like some of the errata, some of them less so, and some of them are just really minor tweaks or clarifications, not necessary to get into here. And then those house rules, I just thought I'd clarify those. I'm probably forgetting something, but we'll cross that. There are some things like Pallando's special ability, which we'll be seeing in this game. He has 2 special abilities. One, he keeps 2 cards, or an extra card in his hand. One, the opponent discards face up. We're discarding face up anyway. I'm playing against myself. I can try and sort of do the mental gymnastics and imagine, okay, I have a better sense of what my opponent is discarding than he does me, but it gets a little tricky because I can only split my mentality so much. But I think Pallando's one power of keeping an extra card in your hand is strong enough. All right, so let's get started. I rolled ahead of time to see who goes first, and Pallando goes first. So we will go ahead and draw 8 for Pallando. we've got our starting characters here. They're all dwarves. We've got Cram on the 2 main dwarves, and yeah, let's go ahead and draw our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 2 characters. We could have a party of 6 if we wanted to. All right. So let's see. First thing I want to do is bring Biffer and Nori in under Thorin and Oin under Balin. So there we go. Okay. And well, it doesn't matter. But yes. Okay. I'm going to try and arrange these cards so that we're seeing as much of the artwork as we can without taking up too much space. I do love the artwork. All right, and okay, so we have a question. Do we want to bring in Dwalin, or even, well, could we even bring in Gloin? Let's see, we're using up 13, so we could bring Gloin in as well. That would be interesting. We could just have a ton of guys. Yeah, huh. That's a question. So we're not going to be able to do anything this first go-round, so we could just go to Lorien and maybe pick someone up there. That is kind of difficult to answer. I mean, Gloin could have... let's see. Let's do it. We might be making ourselves vulnerable to things like Call of Home, but yeah, let's see what happens. Let's go for it. The more the merrier, right? Okay, so I'm bringing Gloin in under general influence, and then we could try to head towards Dorwinion, or we could just go to Lorien. I mean, Lorien is the closest haven to Dorwinion, so or to Shrokane. So why don't we just do that? So okay. Most of what we're going to be doing is in the Lorien neighborhood, so let's just head to Lorien. All right, and our hazard limit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Yowza. Okay. Other side. Okay, so here we are. Let's draw this team's hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, so we've got Sleepless Malice and we've got Exhalation of Decay. Not great cards to start off with. All right, but this is our starting hand, and then so they are going to Lorien from Rivendell, and so they draw 2, we draw 2. So let's hope maybe we get something a little bit better. Yeah, Exhalation of Decay is a good card, but not the one you want to see first. All right, another Smoke Rings. And Wisp of Pale Sheen. Okay. Okay, attacker chooses defending characters. Any character facing a strike whose mind is equal to or lower than the strike's prowess must tap following the strike if untapped. 6. Prowess 6. Well, that is not amazing. Let's see. No. All right, I'm going to play Ren as a permanent event. And I think that will be it. So, Mary. I don't think we need Mary right now. So I'm going to discard Mary, and let me think. Before I do that, do I want to tap Ren to go ahead and bring some hazards in, or a hazard into the play deck? I Is there anything that's going to be really good? Did I not even put any calls of home? I think I left the calls of home out of here because I'm preferring corruption. That might be a mistake. Oh, they're going to punish me for that, aren't they? All right, well, that's all we have to play against them. So let's go back over there. And we arrive in Lorien. Huzzah. Okay. So, yes, we arrive, and then we bring our hand back up to 8. The Men of Dale. All right. So lots of faction recruiting first. Get that out of the way, I guess. Okay, and in Lorien, I don't think there's anything for us to do, honestly, so we will just say it's the end of turn phase, and then... Okay, I'm just not going to discard anything. All right, other side. And Exhalation of Decay, it's just too early, so I'm going to discard that. And Childowser, all right, okay. So that's the end of that team's turn, and now we're here in Rivendell with Glorfindel. And Glorfindel is going to take Annalena under his direct influence, and that's all. And we need to go get ourselves a ring. And so let's go to the easiest place first, while we're still young and fresh. I mean, we could go somewhere more challenging. We don't really have a sense of what their hazard deck is all about, so that's a hard decision. Let's just go somewhere safe until we have a better idea what we're up against. Okay, so Austin Edel in the ruins of the old Eregion. All right, so it is a double wilderness, and we're heading from a haven to a ruins and lair, and we can draw one, our opponent can draw one. Okay, so, and we have 2 smoke rings here, so that could allow us to bring in some things from the sideboard. Okay, that's a thought. Let's draw our 1. Okay, lesser ring, great. So we've got something, now we just need a way to test it. And over here we can draw 1. Pallando, heck yeah. Okay, so they're moving through double wilderness to a ruin and lair, and they have a hazard limit of 3. Okay. Trickery is scout only, orc, troll, man, elf, slayer, awakened plant, giant. Okay, so it's not going to work on spiders. Right. So Shelob is, when she's a permanent event, is gives +1 prowess and strike to all spider and animal attacks. Discard when if Doors of Night is in play. Okay, so we can't play Shelob at the moment because Doors of Night is not in play. Well then, let's play. They're headed to a site where the wolf attack, so there's all the more reason to play Wake of War. Let's play Wake of War. Okay, so Wake of War says the number of strikes and prowess of each wolf, spider, and animal attack is increased by 1 to if Doors of Night is in play. Doors of Night is not in play yet, but we're going to put it down anyway, and then we're going to follow it up with Giant Spider. So 2 strikes of 10. And with Wake of War in play, that's 3 strikes of 11. Not too shabby. 3 strikes of 11. Oh boy. And Wake of War is a long event, so we can't even use Marvel's Toll to get rid of that. Well. we might be in trouble already. And then that's also going to mean that the automatic attack is 4 strikes of 6. Okay. Well, let's see. If we don't tap 11, that's pretty rough. Bilbo's got 3 prowess, Sam's got 1, and Annalena has 3. Oof, okay. Yeah, wow. Danger right out the gate. Well, I think Bilbo taps. Jeez. I don't want to lose Bilbo. Glorfindel taps. We still gotta... We do have the healing herbs. Okay. Okay. I think Annalena, Bilbo, and Sam tap to face their strikes. And we'll just see what happens. Yikes. This is not good. Okay. To beat an 11, Annalena has 3. And she rolled a 3, so she's wounded. Oof. Bilbo has a 3. Oh, he rolls a 10. Okay, so he beats his. And then Sam has 1. And he rolls an 11. Okay, so now we roll Annalena's body check. She has 8 body. Oh no, Annalena rolls an 11. Oof, oof. Annalena is dead. Wow. Right out the gate. We've killed an elf. Oh man. Okay. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. Anything else from that side? They say no, so we discard the spiders, and we've arrived at Austin Iddle. And, okay. Oh, well, before we arrive, let's play Smoke Rings to... Just for the sake of getting our hand moving, I'm going to play both Smoke Rings, and I'm going to take Fast Asleep and the Magic Ring of Courage. And place them in our play deck and shuffle. Okay, so we've arrived, and as soon as I get these shuffled in, I will draw up to 8. Alright, nice and shuffled. Stirring Bones. Other side. Fellowship. Very nice. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so we're at now we're at Austin Iddle. Okay, and I want to face the automatic attack, and yeah. Let's see. 3 strikes, prowess of 5. Okay. Bilbo, yeah. Glorfindel is going to choose not to tap, and so yes, he will face his strike, and then Bilbo and Sam are tapped. So Sam has 0 to beat 5. Oh, wait, Wake of War, I forgot about that. So there's an extra strike. All right, who are they going to apply the extra strike to? They are going to put it on Sam. So Sam is facing -1 to beat 6. Oof, yikes. -1 to beat 6. Okay, Sam, and then Bilbo has got 2 to beat 6, and Glorfindel has 5 to beat 6. I could tap Glorfindel to help Sam. And no, let's not do that. Okay. So -1 to beat 6. And he rolled an 8. Okay, so he beat it. Bilbo, 2 to beat 6. And he rolled a 4. Okay, so he's ineffectual. That's fine. And Glorfindel, 5 to beat... Wait, it's 5 to beat 6, so he can't lose. Okay. And then Glorfindel will tap. And we tap the site to play the beautiful gold ring. Okay,
Very nice. And now at the end of our turn, we can discard 1 and draw back up to 8. Let's see. So we're getting the sense that they're playing. They are playing animals. So trickery may not be the most helpful card. We could save it to cancel an automatic attack, but let's keep going through our hand. Okay, we'll discard 1 and draw up to 8. Horahil. And Doors of Night. Hello. Awesome. Okay, great. Other side. Looking good. I think we want to keep... I think we're going to have a big party. We could split up, but we've got 2 things to do in our hand, and the problem is Pallando can't come in at Lorien, so we may have to go back to Rivendell, even though that seems like a huge waste, but I'd rather just keep everyone safe and have a big old team and make a big old fellowship. But that means we don't need Dwalin, because we can't have more than 7 people in a company. Okay, so... And Keeley, okay. Alright, well, maybe we should split up into different companies. I don't know. Okay, well, but that's the end of that round.